Let's begin. Shri chakra wasini Devi Namaste. Shivakama Sundari Devi Namaste. Shri Krishna Sodari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Padmadala Lochani Devi Namaste. Bhakta Paripalini Devi Namaste. पर्वत वर्धिनी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. करुणाविलासिनी देवी नमस्ते. कात्यायनी गौरी देवी नमस्ते. कदम्ब वनवासिनी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. शक्ति परमेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. शंभुमन मोहिनी देवी नमस्ते. शंकरी कृपाकरी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. अन्नपूर्णेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. अखिलांडेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. अभयप्रदायिनी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. अखंड परिपूरणी देवी नमस्ते. आदि पराशक्ति देवी नमस्ते. अखिल परिपालिनी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. अनाथ रक्षकी देवी नमस्ते. सौभाग्यदायिनी देवी नमस्ते. संतान बलप्रदे देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. पाहि भुवनेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. श्री विद्या रूपिणी देवी नमस्ते. शक्ति स्वरूपिणी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. राजराजेश्वरी देवी नमस्ते. We are learning about Bhagwan Dattatray's 24 Gurus. Hopefully, we are in the 9th chapter. There are only 7, 8, 9 chapters in Canto 11 that we are reading. And hopefully, we'll finish it today. Okay. We learned about the story of Pingla yesterday. And then where we ended was on the hawk. So he's mentioning one of the teachers is hawk. Why did he mention hawk? Because he saw that there is one hawk who is holding a piece of meat. And then it is chased by other group of hawks who want that piece of meat. So he ran for some time holding that. But then he realized this meat is going to be a source of problem. Let me just drop this meat. And he dropped the meat. And all the other hawks are just attacking that meat now. So he was saved. So this is how a practitioner has to be detached. If you hold on to many things and you see that people are going to chase you for that, you have to weigh your options. Many times people come and they're like, if we don't reply them, then they're going to really, we are making them strong. We are supporting the wrong. People make all these statements. Like they will quote Gita also sometimes, when there are property matters, especially people are fighting for property. Oh, if you don't reply them, then, Arjun also fought for that. I'm like, yeah, Arjun fought. But what was Arjun's attitude? You are only looking at the fight because you have not read the Gita. You have not actually thought how Arjun was before the fight. Are you of that mentality? He was ready to give up the pleasures of all the three worlds. This is his dialogue. This is his statement. He said, I'm ready to give up the pleasures of these three worlds. I do not want. If they want to fight, let them fight. Oh, Govinda, I have you. Oh, Rishikesh, I have you. You are my joy. When he uses the word Govind. Those who are learning the Gita from me, they know every place I have mentioned Arjuna's character. And the words that Vyasdev has used. Yesterday we were speaking about, Tia told me that oh, the Pingla has to be interpreted like this. And I was like, no. When they write something, he means it. There is no other interpretation of that. And if we understand that correctly, we understood it. So he says Govind many times. He never says Krishna. Arjun always says Govind, Rishikesh. At different places, those names are used. Govind means, and then at one place he says, oh, Madhav, I have you. And he says, Madhav means the one who has Lakshmi. He says, Madhav, I have you. Do I really need this throne or this kingdom? No, I don't need it. It's okay. Let them fight. So that is Arjun's attitude. And Bhagwan says, your attitude is right. So you are the only rightful person to take this kingdom. The other people are also fighting. Their logic is also right. But their attitude is not right. They're greedy. They're selfish. Arjun is not selfish at all. He is fighting for the sake of fighting because he was dragged in that position to fight. If somebody sends you a notice, a legal notice, you don't want to fight, but you are dragged into the fight. Now you can't run away. You have to do the fight. So Arjun's state was that. So many times people, they come, they come with their own selfish things. I'm seeing you are yourself selfish. You want that piece of land. Not even once it will come from your mouth. I don't want the piece of land. But you want the piece of land. That's why you're fighting. And then you're giving example of Arjun. No, Arjun is not like you. Arjun can be a mendicant because Krishna calls him Gudakesha, one who is a conqueror of sleep. Parantapa. Arjuna calls these words for Krishna calls Arjun with these words. Parantapa. You are Parantapasvi. So when we use Gita's example to fulfill our selfish, greedy needs, that is not right. Here, another example, hawk. You have a property and people are fighting for that property. If you feel really from your heart, do you really need it? Really? Is fighting for that property and wasting your entire life more important, or using that time to develop yourself spiritually, be with God, create a peaceful environment around you, in your house, and the people you meet? Is that more important? Make your choices. I know of a family. So the mother left long time ago, almost 25, 30 years ago. They had only one big house in a very nice suburb in Bombay. So the sister, she's unmarried. She left everything because she wanted that property, because the property is ocean facing. At that time, crores. She just came and sat down in the property. Who can move me from this property? It's my property. So the other brother also, okay, it's our property. Other brother is also living there in the same house, fighting. Now they have become old, 70-year-old. When they were 40-year-old, they got into the fight. The property matter is going on. It is not solving. Now they are 70-year-old and they are still fighting for the property. I've been saying it for so long and I'm thinking one day you both are going to go. Either one of you give it wholeheartedly, take it, man. I don't want it. I'm done with this. No. The best part is nobody's going to take the property up. But no, it's the ego. It's the ego. And throughout this 30 years, from 40 to 70, you lost all the peace. Day in and day night, you only cursed the other person. What kind of hordes of karma you accumulated? The other person is cursing this person is cursing that person. The curses that you gave to each other. It's not that the other person's curse is going to affect, it's your own curse that is affecting you right at that moment. When you curse somebody, your mind is filled with filth. Immediately. You are the one suffering. Then you spend sleepless nights. Oh, what will happen? What will happen? What will happen? She's bad, he's bad, she's bad, he's bad. What? What have you made of yourself? This 30 years of life, you had given it to her. I'm telling you, and focus on something else, something brighter, better. You would have made so much. But you wasted all your energy chasing something which is so meaningless, just like a piece of meat. So sometimes you have to weigh your options. What is more important? My peace of mind, my family, my happiness, or that money, or that property, or that thing which comes with so much of negative energy? What is more important? And if so, weigh that and give it. Nothing you're going to take up. Your good karma is the only thing that you're going to take up. If you give something, take it. I'm telling you, you have developed a good karma. And you stopped the cycle of cursing. You stopped the cycle of thinking bad about other people. Stop it. Tell your mind, stop it. No more thinking bad about anyone. If they want it, let them have it. When you stop this cycle, you are building a more positive cycle for yourself. But if you don't stop, they are dirty people, they are in dirt, they are dragging you, you're also going and doing the dirt fight. What's the point? Spiritual person is a very, very strong person. Spiritual person does not think once to give up. Take it. If that makes you happy, take it. Always anchored in God. Peace and happiness is the most important thing. And your good karma, spiritual person knows the importance of good karma. Your good karma in thought, in action, in your mind is very important. So here the example of the hawk. Give it. Okay. Next one. Then he went on, he's saying, I don't have family. I have no anxiety. I do not worry about honor and dishonor. Remember this. I do not worry about honor and dishonor. And I enjoy the life of the soul. And I find love on spiritual platform. Thus I wander on the earth like a child. So love on a spiritual platform, not on bodily platform. When I say spiritual platform, the love of the soul with the super soul. Your love with Bhagwan or Devi, whomever you love. Then he goes on saying, Dvaveva chintaya muktau parmananda aplutau yo vimugdho jado balo yo gunebhya param gataha. In this world, there are two types of people who are free from all anxiety and merged in great happiness. One who is retarded and one who is a childish fool and who has approached the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the three modes of nature. Kvachit kumari tva atmanam vrinanam grihamagatan swayam tan ariham nasa kwapi yateshu bandhushu. So now he goes on mentioning another girl, a girl of a marriageable age. Once a marriageable young girl was alone in her house because her parents and relatives had gone that day to another place. At that time, few men arrived at the house specifically desiring to marry her, and she received them with all hospitality. The girl went into a private room and then she started making preparations so that this unexpected male guest could eat. As she was beating the rice, she had worn some conch shell bracelets. So the bracelets started making noise, and because they were colliding on her arms. So she thought, oh my God, if I make so much noise, those people will get disturbed. Let me break away this bangle. So she broke the bangles and she removed, and then she left only 2 bangles in her hand. And then she started doing her activity, she started beating the rice again. But those 2 bangles also in the hand are making noise. So she said, this is not good. She removed both the bangles and then she kept only 1 bangle in each hand. Now she beat the rice. Now there was no sound at all. She was doing her work peacefully. So here, Dattatreya says, I learned that from this girl, what she did. He says, Anavikshanam imam tasya upadesham marindama lokan anucharannetan lokatattva vivitsaya. O subduer of the enemy, I travel throughout the surface of the earth, learning constantly about the nature of this world And thus I personally witnessed the lesson of the young girl. Vase bahunam kalaho bhaved varta dvayorapi eka eva vaset tasmat kaumarya eva kankanaha. He says, when many people live together in one place, there will be undoubtedly the quarreling. And even if only two people live together, there will be frivolous conversations and disagreement. Therefore, to avoid conflict, one should live alone, as we learned from the example of the bracelet of the young girl. Now, this is specifically for those who want to be walking on the path of spirituality. All my gurus have taught me this. This we are reading from the book, but I have seen gurus like that. They won't get involved in any unnecessary talk. It took me a long time to accept that kind of life, but I did it. And I'm so happy I did it. I met gurus in Vrindavan. Rishikesh and all, the teachers, the saints are very nice because they are anyways aloof from the world. They don't mix up with anybody. They are sitting on the Ganges or in some cave or they're aloof. So nobody disturbs them. And some of the rishis and munis I have seen, they go on the top of the mountain somewhere and hide in the cave so that nobody else climbs up there. So they have done that, staying alone and thinking on God. But when you come to Vrindavan is, the rishis are not hiding. They will be, max they will hide is in their rooms. That's all. They're not hiding in caves. They are open. They do satsangas, they do kirtans. And they're available also. But I noticed in them one thing. That the moment the satsangas are over, those rishis, those saints, they will not talk anything worldly. Real ones. No matter. So if they give me an audience of 1 hour, in that 1 hour, it will be purely satsang. Anything else, they won't talk. And my teacher, Vaishnava teacher, he taught me this. He quoted me a sloka from Radha Sudanidhi. Alam vishay vartaya ghor narak seve. But whatever you talk in this world, it is vishay varta. Vishay varta means something, vishay means senses. All the talks that you are going to do is for sensory gratification. And this sensory gratification, it's called vishay, subject. But vishay also means something which has vish. Vish means poison. So all this subject matter which you think are important in this world and you must discuss, in the end, they will only poison you. You sit with a group of people, what will they do? They'll gossip about somebody who is not present in the group. You are a party to the group, you also participated in the group. What happens in the end? They have spoken filth, you heard filth, you filled filth, mind is of filth. So my guru taught me this. Alam vishay varta. These are useless topics. Don't talk that. Ghor narak sevaya. He says, you will suffer in hell for talking like this. Hell does not mean after death. Hell means while living. At that time, I didn't understand what is it saying, because we live in the world and we think, oh, talking in the world is important. How can you be without talking to people? So at 1 or 2 occasions, I let myself loose in some worldly conversation. And those worldly conversations were gossips. And then, when the gossip reaches that person's ears about whom you gossiped, then you must see the reactions. The group breaks. All of you have been through all this. The group breaks. And here I am sitting. I was a part of that group, whatever the reason. And I am remembering my Guru's word. Alam vishay varta ghor narak sevya. Alam vishay varta ghor narak sevya. And I am cursing myself. Why did I do that? Why was a party to that group? Even though I don't want to enjoy, but for whatever reason I was in the group. I didn't participate in the gossip, but my name was dragged in the group because I was there. I got my lesson of life. Alam vishay vartayan ghor narak sevya. Whatever you talk, it may appear very fun in the beginning, but in the end, it's only going to drag you into situations which are going to fill your heart with remorse, with regret, with sadness. So be careful when you're talking on this path. I did that only once or twice, letting myself loose, and I learned my lesson very hard. One has to be very, 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 very careful. And I saw this in Vrindavan saints. They will not meet people if people have anything else in their agenda. So when you're walking in this path, for me, to gather that strength, that even while living in the world, to be very careful when I'm talking. You'll not hear me talking. All my group people know. I became very, very strict with my life. Very, very strict. After seeing Vrindavan saints. People called me, even for satsanga, I used to be very careful. People used to call me to their homes. Those who know me very closely, they know how strict I was. If they call me for satsanga 1 hour, it is only 1 hour. Beyond that, I won't even sit to take the prasad. Because I know it's a human nature. When you're going to sit to take the prasad, that's it. Some topic of the world will start and gone. All that joy that you had gathered in the satsanga is vanished. When people go back home, they do not remember anything of the satsanga. They will only remember of the gossip. Oh, this lady said that man said that, this lady was doing that guy was doing that. This is what they take home. What's the point of when you met for satsanga and then you go back home with all these dirty things in your head? So you have to be very strict. I became very strict with all my friends. I told them, first of all, I won't go to your homes for anything. So the only way you can call me is for satsang. So if I go on satsang, that also the timing is very clear. I won't even sit and eat. Give me my food, I'll take it home and eat. First they used to think, what is this? This is so rude. I'm like, no, this is how it is. Whether you like me or not. If you don't like me, no problem. And then they realize, okay, this is how she is. Because for me, my sadhana, I'm quoting, and it's not me, because I learned it the hard way. The sadhana, the joy of sadhana, when you are getting it, when you are purifying yourself so much, then you have to be very, very careful. You have to draw that fence around you. And whatever you are, you be that person. Do not fall down. Do not fall down. Sadhana is not a joke. You are changing your consciousness. So you have to be very loving. You cannot be hating people. I don't hate anybody. But I do not fall down on my principles. I'm very strict on my principles. I do not hate anyone. If you are my friend, I love you most. Even if you're my enemy, I love you. Because God has taught me like that. But just to prove my friendship, if I have to fall down on my principles, if I have to sit and gossip, if I have to eat things which I should not be eating, if I have to drink things which I should not be doing, then I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. This path, you have to be that careful with whom you're mingling, with what you're doing. Everything is going to affect your mind. Be very careful. So here the Tatra is teaching us the same thing. When many people are going to live together, they're going to quarrel. It is going to happen. So you will say, okay, all groups, exit from the group, exit from the group, exit from the group. And then there are only 2 people. They will also gossip or do something. And then you're going to spoil your mind. And then when you come back to your sadhana, all your hard work is gone in vain. So our Gurudev Dattatreya is asking us to be careful. Whom you are sitting with, what you're doing, be very careful. Okay? Okay. Mana ekatra samyunjya jita swasho jitasanaha. Now he's giving us practical advice what we have to do. Mana ekatra samyuyaj jita swasho jitasanaha vairagya bhyasa yogena dhiyamana matandritaha. What he's teaching here, same thing Bhagwan Shri Krishna is taught in Gita. He's saying, having perfected the yoga sitting postures and conquer the breathing process, one should make the mind steady by detachment and the regulated practice of yoga. Thus, one should carefully fix the mind on the single goal of yoga practice. All this why we are doing? For yoga. Yoga means union with your soul or with Bhagwan. What we have to do? First, follow all these things. Develop your patience, detachment, your company, right company, practicing solitude, all these things from all the other gurus that you have learned from now, knowing the futility of life, knowing what you are following, be aware of everything. And then he's saying, Mana ekatra samyujya. Gather your mind. Same thing Bhagwan is teaching. Sthita pragya, become a sthita pragya. Let your mind, which is wandering here and there, bring it to one pointed concentration. And then he says, Jita swaso jitasanaha, focus on the breath. Because this, what is being taught is Nirakar meditation. Focus on the breath. This is what the Buddhist people use in Vipassana. We think Buddhism is separate, but original is from us. This is the method. Focus on the breath. Breath is the most subtlest thing. Focus on the breath. And by focusing on the breath, once your concentration becomes strong and the indriyas, the senses, whichever are going wherever, you just bring them together. Focus on the breath. See where the breath is going. So if you don't focus on the breath, everything, your mind will go here and there. Mind and breath are connected. This techniques, this slowly we'll learn in Gita also. Here I'm not focusing much. But mind and breath are connected. If you are angry, the body becomes heated up. And your breath will be very fast paced. But when you are peaceful, the breath will be very slow paced. And in Samadhi, the breath duration between one breath to the another one will be very long. You can go for breath, you can go to a breathless state for a long time, naturally. So, but to get to that state, all this needs to be practiced. Patience, forgiveness, all the qualities. Talking sweetly, nicely, not getting attracted by anything. Indriya Nigra. So it appears very difficult how to do all this. Then he says, Vairagya Bhyasa Yogena. Two things he's saying. By practice. Same thing Bhagwan will say in Gita. Arjun says, Bhagwan, it is so difficult, whatever you are speaking. To control the mind, it is thinner than air. Bhagwan says two things. Abhyas yogena kaunteya. Vairagyena cha dharyate. That only by abhyas, by practice, and by vairagya. Vairagya means detachment. So two things you will have to develop. Detachment and practice. You are practicing everything, but you are not developing detachment. Then it will not happen. Both of them together. Practicing is one and detachment is another. Detachment is a state of mind where God will give me everything, whatever I need. And even if he has not given, I don't need it. It was not meant for me. Whatever is meant for me will come to me, and whatever is not coming, it is not good for me. Bhagwan is my well-wisher. He knows my past, my present, my future. Whatever is required, he will send me. Bhagwan says that in Gita. Whatever you have, I will preserve, and whatever you lack, I will give you. So you must trust Bhagwan's word. That is why Gita is so important. Slokas of Gita are so important. They are positive words from Bhagwan. So if you practice that, Bhagwan says, whatever my devotee lacks, I will give. And whatever he has, I will preserve. Oh, Bhagwan, you have given me the promise. Thank you, Bhagwan. Now let me focus. Hold his hand. Start your chanting. That's simple. So two things you have to always do. Practice and detachment. Detachment means whatever will come, will come. Whatever will not come, it's not meant for me. I'm happy under all stage. Okay? All right. So, Bhagwan is, our Gurudev is saying, one should make the mind steady by detachment and the regulated principles of yoga. One should carefully fix the mind on the single goal of yoga practice. Yasmin mano labdha padam yadeta chanai shanair munchati karma renun satvena vidhena rajastamascha vidhuya nirvanam upaitya nindhanam. He says the mind can be controlled when it is fixed on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Having achieved a stable situation, the mind becomes free from polluted desires to execute material activities. Thus, as the mode of goodness increases in strength, one can completely give up the modes of passion and ignorance, and gradually one transcends even the mode of goodness. When the mind is free from the fuel of the modes of nature, the fire of material existence is extinguished, then one achieves the transcendental platform of direct relationship with the object of the meditation, the Supreme Lord. Again, so first thing he said, abhyas. Abhyas means practice. Second, he said, detachment. Third, he's saying, you have to rise above the three material modes of nature. Now, if I had taken you directly in this chapter, it would be very difficult, but I have already explained you the three modes of material nature in Bhagavad Gita class. One whole class I have taken only on these three modes of material nature. Go to the playlist. You will see in the title. It's in chapter 2. I think it is slok number around 48. I have explained that. Sattva, Rajas, Tama, three modes of material nature. Understand that again and again. Bhagwan tells to Arjun, Nistre Guna Bhavarjuna, rise above these three modes of material nature. What are those? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. How will you rise? By constant practice and detachment. Same thing Bhagwan Gurudev Dattatreya is saying here. That once the mind is fixed, slowly, Shanai Shanai, Munchati Karma Renun. Once the mind is fixed on the breath or on yourself, once it is stable, then slowly you will start getting detached from all the activities. And once you're detached from all the activities, your two modes of rajas and tamas, modes of passion and modes of rajas, ignorance, both will come down, and slowly your mode of goodness will increase. But as you practice more and more, you will rise beyond this. Once somebody has gone beyond this three nature, he has arrived. Why do I focus on this so much? Because as I told you, when you are on the path of spirituality, you will get fake experiences. And you will think these are experiences. But those experiences, if they are backed by this state of mind, either from what in Gita, Bhagwan explained in sloka number 48, 49, either that or Dattatreya Bhagwan this sloka, text 12, in chapter 9, canto 11. If your state of mind has become like this, if you have risen above the three modes of material nature, and then you are getting any experiences, then you are on the correct path. Got it? Otherwise, those experiences are delusional many a times. How to check yourself? I'm giving you the check marks. Here, first thing, when I was doing sadhanas, a lot of experiences were happening. So many times you get confused. So then I asked my teachers, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. And we have read books of authors who have written like this. So we think, oh, the experiences will come by themselves. Yeah, some of them were coming, some of them were not. So my gurus told me one thing, my Vaishnava guru especially. He said, experiences will happen, but do those experiences match with the scriptural references? Because Vedas are such perfect books. Shabda Praman, Vedas are called Shabda Praman. There are three types of proof. And in that, three types of proof. Shabda Praman, like Whatever is written in the Vedas is the most authentic praman. One is like pratyaksha praman. Praman means proof. You saw something and you say, oh, this is the proof. Pratyaksh. One is anuman, conclusive. Then the third one is shabda praman. This is the final word. But all this proof also have their own deficiencies. Like you saw something, when people see a murder scene, you have seen so many things. So you will say, oh, I saw this, I saw this, I saw this. So the murder is like this. But no, the CID will go, the FBI will go, and they'll find out some other clues, and they'll find out the murder was somebody else. So even though you're seeing a thing in front of you, but it is illusionary and there are mistakes. Like you look at the sun. So you saw the sun. You will say, oh, the sun is shining golden bright. I will say, no. I saw the sun. The sun is reddish. You'll be like, no, sun is always golden. I'm like, I also saw the sun. I also saw the sun. It is golden. I'll say, no, it is red. You come with me in the morning, I'll show you. Oh, morning time it was different. Afternoon it is different. We both have seen the sun, but we are fighting. So the proofs were wrong somewhere. Similarly, there is anuman praman, like conclusive. You think. Like you see, you are driving and you see some smoke coming out of the mountain. So you may conclude, oh, there is a fire in the mountain. And somebody will say, no, there is no fire in the mountain. Somebody is cooking and the smoke is coming from the house. Which is the truth, you don't know. Only when you go there, you come to know the scene. Oh, what happened? But you made some conclusion based on what you are seeing. So those also have deficiencies. Then comes the Shabda Praman. There are more levels on this, but I'm just taking 3. Then comes Shabda Praman. It's like your mother told you, this person is your father. Are you going to challenge? If you want to challenge, you'll take the DNA test. But whatever the mother has said, that is the truth. The DNA test and the DNA test and mother's words will match. Then you accept the truth. Similarly, in our experiences, whatever experiences you have gotten, if it matches the scriptures are Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means proof, words. Scriptures, whatever Vedas have said is the truth. And if your experiences are matching the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, forget about other Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, just take Bhagavad Gita, or the Tat is what we are reading now. If they are matching, there are no difference in Bhagavad Gita and what we are reading now. There will be no difference in Bhagavad Gita and what we will read in Tripura Rahasya. There will be no difference. If your experience is matching these statements, then your experiences are right. If you see scenery, or going through experiences, if the sattva vikar, ashta vikar, whatever you call, if it is happening as the way it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, or if it is happening as the way it is here, then you're on the right. What is your state of mind? Are you still passionate? Are you still in the mode of ignorance? Are you still craving for eating meat or drinking, and then you're saying, oh, I'm getting experiences? Then you're mistaken. Are you still dying to have uncontrolled sex? You're in the mode of passion. Are you still craving for money? You're in the mode of passion. And then you say, oh, I'm having all these visions. Mistaken. Is your mind very well controlled? Are you very peaceful all the time? You don't get crazy after anything. You are happy internally. And then you are getting some visions. You are on the right track. Has your mind risen above all these things, as in Gita? Then you're in the perfect position. So you analyze yourself, you judge yourself, and how do you go there? The method has been given, focusing on the breath. And practice detachment every day. If you're doing this, you're right, okay? So no external person has to come and grade you. You yourself are your grader. All right. Thus, when one's consciousness is completely fixed on the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one no longer sees duality or internal or external reality. The example is given of the arrow maker who is so absorbed in making a straight arrow that he did not even see or notice the king himself who was passing right next to him. Is your meditation level like this? Question yourself. Did your meditation go like this and then you saw something? You have to know yourself. A saintly person should remain alone and constantly travel without fixed residence. This is for sannyasis, not for householders. Being alert, he should remain secluded and should act in such a way that he is not recognized or noticed by others. Moving without companions, he should not speak more than required. This is very, very important. Speak only when it is necessary. Speak good words and speak godly things. Do not waste your time in unnecessary worldly topics. Okay? Try to remain secluded even in the world where you're living, and do not go on boasting how spiritual you are. Okay? When a person living in temporary material body tries to construct a happy home, the result is fruitless and miserable. The snake, however, enters a home that has been built by others and prospers happily. This is for sannyasis. The Lord of the universe, Narayana, is the worshipable God of all living entities. So he started from Atma. Okay, I have always told you in our books, both things will be mentioned, Sakar and Nirakar. Always, even Bhagavad Gita is like that. So till now he was explaining Nirakar. He used the word Atma everywhere. Atma, 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 Atma. Atma means soul. Okay, Brahma, like that. Now in text 16, Dattatreya Bhagwan is using the word Narayana. Eko Narayano Devaha Purva Shishtam Swamayaya Samritya Kala Kalaya Kalpantamidam Ishvaraha Eka Eva Dvitiyo Bhud Atmadharo Khilashrayaha. Now he's saying there is only one Bhagavan, one Devaha, who Eko Narayana. Ek Narayana. Purva Shishtam Swamayaya. He created this world with his own Maya. Who is that Maya? That Maya is Lalita Tripura Sundari, Yoga Maya. So there was only one worshipable Lord, Narayana, who created this world, Swamayaya. Same thing Bhagwan says in Gita. And that Maya is Lalita Tripura Sundari. Sanghritya Kala Kalaya Kalpantamidam Ishvaraha. He is the one who preserves along with the Maya and destroys along with the Yoga Maya. And he is the controller of everybody. He is the unlimited self. He is in every form. And he is the Adhar, he is the foundation of everything. He is the subtle Pradhan and basis of all cosmic manifestation. And he is the Lord himself. After everything is annihilated, he alone stands. Who? Eko Narayano Deva. Got it? So we have learned about the Nirakar. Now we are learning about the Sakar. Who is teaching us? Bhagwan Adiguru Dattatreya. All right. Then he goes on saying, Kalena Atmanu Bhavena Samyam Nita Shaktishu Satvadishu Adi Purusha Pradhana Purusheshwaraha. When the Supreme Lord displays his own potency in the form of time and guides his material potencies, such as the mode of goodness, into a neutral condition of equilibrium, he remains as the supreme controller of that neutral state, called Pradhan, as well as of the living entities. He is also the supreme worshipable object for all living beings, including liberated souls, lesser gods, and ordinary conditioned souls. The Lord is eternally free from any material designation, and he constitutes the totality of spirituality bliss, which one experiences by seeing the Lord's spiritual form. The Lord thus exhibits the fullest meaning of the word liberation. So he started from Nirakar, soul realization. Now he's coming to Bhagwan realization. And he says that is the final liberation. He alone is the one who gives the final emancipation. O subduer of the enemies, at the time of creation, Bhagwan expands his own Maya. Here he sings, Kevalatmana bhavena swamayam trigunatmika. When he said, Bhagwan expands this whole thing and he uses the word swamayam trigunatmikam. It means trigunatmika. Who is trigunatmika? Tripura Sundari. Swamaya, Yogamaya, Tripura Sundari. She is the one who is playing that role with him, and he is explaining, even though that the name is not exclusively coming here, but when we read the Sanskrit slokas, we read the word Trigunatmika Maya. Then we know, yeah, mother. Correct? So wherever Lord Vishnu is mentioned, this Yogamaya, Trigunatmika Maya will always be mentioned in the slokas. This is how you read the books. Okay? And then he says, Sangshobayan Sijatu Adau Taya Sutram Arindama. He agitates the material energy and then from there creates a Mahattattva. Now the Srishti is created. And then he goes on saying, according to great sages, that which is the basis of the three modes of material nature and which manifests the variegated universe is called the Sutra or the Mahattattva. This we are going to understand more deeply in Bhagavad Gita. This is like a science class, but when you are going to read the Bhagavad Gita with me, we'll go chapter wise chapter. And in every chapter, Bhagwan will develop it and you will very easily understand that. Here, I've taken it directly. It will be difficult to understand. I'm not going to focus too much on that. Once your Gita is clear, come back again to this chapters. Then you will understand it like this. Okay. Indeed, this universe is resting within the Mahattattva, and due to its potency, the living entity undergoes material existence. Just as from within himself, the spider expands the thread through his mouth, plays with it for some time, and eventually swallows it. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expands his personal potency from within himself. Thus, the Lord displays the network of cosmic manifestation, utilizes it correct according to his purpose, and withdraws eventually from it completely within himself. Yatra yatra manodehi dharayet sakalam dhiya snehad dveshad bhayad vapi. Out of love, hate, or fear, an embodied soul fixes his mind with intelligence and complete concentration upon a particular bodily form, he will attain the same form that he is meditating upon. And then he will go on and give an example of a wasp, which I think we will take it later because the class is becoming too heavy. Let me take your question and then we will end it up here, okay? And then we'll continue with the class next time. All right. So Lakshmi writes, hi Lakshmi writes, Jai Guru Maa, very strict points about not falling down in association. But it just came to my mind that anyways, I do that now for my material roles. I am very careful that I am not wasting time and taking time away from my service to my family. My behavior is very careful, the way it should be as a mother and wife when I am associating with others. Now I just need to take it higher level. My first and foremost self-identification should be that I am a servant of Ma. I should start acting in that role. Please send me your blessings, Ma. Yes, you have to act like that too. You know, in family life, what worked for me, I will only share. For me, my most important responsibility is my nearest family. My husband, my kids, and anybody living in my house. My in-laws used to live in my house. Whoever is living in this house where I am, they are my most immediate responsibility. How much time do they need? You're not going to sit with them the whole day, are you? You will cook for them, you will take care of them, drive them here and there, finish the work. And after that, you have time for yourself. So develop that. What happens with most people in the world, that little time which they have for themselves, they will start calling others, extended relatives. You have to give a, presence, tell about your presence to them also. Now that is a wastage of time. You can call them once in a year, Diwali, Holi, that's it. Only that much. But most people I see, they waste their time in this extended family relationships. When we are on the spiritual path, there's only one family, Bhagwan. So this we have to develop the detachment. We are not answerable to anybody. I had to go a very strict transformation on myself in this. I am not answerable to anybody. I'm only answerable to my nearest and dearest ones. I will take care of them. Anybody else? God bless them all. I love them all. God is taking care of them all. I don't have to prove by calling you every day, oh, I'm your best friend. No, I don't have to. I pray for you sincerely and I pray for my family. And I'm full of joy in my heart. I pass on the joy to you. My efforts are being seen by gurus and gods. I'm only answerable to them. When this thing comes in your mind strongly, then everything works. Few days, for a few months, they will talk about you, let them gossip. You have to rise above the gossip also. They will gossip about you. They will mock at you. They will say what not. But you have to learn to rise above that. Let them talk whatever they want to talk. You are only answerable to God, gurus, and your immediate family members. Everybody else is a different, independent person. We only wish them luck. We wish them joy. We don't hate anybody. And when you live like this, and then while talking also, whenever you're associating, going out everywhere, you should know what you're talking. You should be aware and where you should know where to stop. And even by mistake, sometimes habitually we go on talking something. And if you realize in the night before sleeping, oh my God, I should not have done this. Immediately you should sit, ask for forgiveness from Bhagwan, from Guru, and that day's prayer, give it to them about whom you spoke bad. This way, your heart will becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. We are living in a world where we will end up fighting someday or other. But in the night before sleeping, I'll remember that person's face. And then whatever chanting I've done, Bhagwan, it is for them. So that way, we clear our mind. Okay. So all blessings are there. I'm glad you're learning and you're practicing. By practicing and detachment, you will arrive to the state of happiness. Okay. So we'll end up the class now. Jai Shri Krishna, and then we'll meet